This is me, Craig Ferguson. Come see me live in your region on my Pants on Fire comedy stand-up tour. For the full list of dates and tickets, go to thecraigfergusonshow.com. VIP meet and greet packages are available as well. Come say hi and have a laugh. Hi everyone, welcome to the Joy Podcast. My name is Craig Ferguson and I am your host for this particular thing. This podcast, this cast that we call Pod. And I will say this, if I say nothing else, I'm getting a little sick of the term podcast. So what I'm going to call it now is, feels like everybody's got a podcast. I feel like a podcast now, I think you get a podcast, like people said in the 1980s that you could get herpes from sharing a towel with someone. I don't share a lot of towels, but I think you could get a podcast from sharing a towel with someone. I think you might. Anyway, if you're wondering what a podcast is, this one is slightly different from even it used to be, because as it began like most other podcasts where people talking to other people about blah blah. But as time went on and circumstances developed, it became clear to me that my schedule and other people's schedules and the business of arranging to meet people and doing stuff became too much trouble because I'm on the road a lot. And now I can tell you why. Because it was announced this week. The show that I have been working on for the past 6 months is called American on Purpose. Television show, and I'm doing it for the CNN television station. And it's the name of, if you know anything about me, I wrote a book in 2008 called American on Purpose, and it was a New York Times bestseller, if you don't mind me saying so. And actually, even if you do mind me saying so, it doesn't really matter because it still was a New York Times bestseller. So for the rest of my life, I can say about myself, I am a New York Times best-selling author. And because I went to, in the filming of American on Purpose, the TV show, I went to the Texas State Rodeo. So I could also say to people now as well, this is not my first rodeo, even if I'm at a rodeo. But I digress. I wrote a book called American on Purpose in 2008 when I became a citizen. And it was positive in its approach to the United States. And it was a time at the end of the Bush administration and the beginning of the Obama administration, and there was some contention and political divide in the country. And so I tried to strike a tone in the book which was non-political, which has been my drive for a long time, which was patriotic without being jingoistic, but was positive about what these United States are. I sometimes feel in times of great political strife, as in now, there's a lot of hyperbole and noise and politics and stuff going on, a lot of very strong feelings about things happening. And I think there is a temptation when things are like that, and they have been like that before in the history of the United States, that people tend to start talking about throwing the baby out with the bathwater a little bit. So what I tried to do in the book American on Purpose was strike a politically neutral tone, but at the same time celebrating the United States because I had become a citizen. And the 250th anniversary of the United States. I'm still an American. America is still here. And CNN asked me if we had discussed if I'd like to do some shows about how to mark that celebration, some hour-long shows. I think we made 5 of them so far. So 5 hour-long shows about the United States. And I said, well, I'll do it, but I don't want to do anything that's like that's down on America. I don't want to go boo America, but I also don't want to be corny. I'd like to strike the same tone as American on Purpose. And so that's what we did. And we even called the show American on Purpose. And that's what it's called. It'll go out on CNN. I think in May of this year, it'll start. It's across the 250th anniversary celebrations of America. around about the 4th of July this year. And I think some people have asked me that if there was any kind of polemic, given that, you know, the CNN have any kind of, and there's none of that. There's none of that. It's about, this is my voice in this show. So it's not, there's no political, there's no current political stance on this show. I'm sure people have stuff to say. Whenever you do stuff that's outside of a, you know, kind of cookie bit of material, sometimes people's tempers are inflamed. And then I remember what the great John Waters said to me once about tempers being inflamed. He said, honey, their tempers were inflamed before they ever heard about you, so don't worry about it. Well, I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Anyway, I've been traveling the country. I've been walking the earth, recording these shows with some very talented people. Morgan Fallon is the showrunner on this show. He worked, of course, with the much-missed Anthony Bourdain. And I wanted to see if we could at least get a flavor of what Anthony Bourdain had done in his travelogues. Obviously, that was his voice and that was his thing, and this is not that. But it was important to me that we got involved with, or that we made the show with someone who knew what they were doing, because I don't really. I know what I want, and that's a start. What I want right now is a drink of this coffee, so hold on a second. Anyway, in the course of shooting this show, I mean, it's it's travelogue documentary stuff. You go everywhere, and I've been to a lot of places. Weirdly enough, we didn't shoot anything in Washington, D.C., which I thought was quite a bit. The government shutdown is going on, and we were like, well, we can't, nothing was open, and we couldn't get to anything. So if and when we make more of them, we'll go, there's plenty of places still to go. And I suspect that when the show comes out, a lot of people will say, how can you do a thing about America and not go to Area X or my region? And the trouble is America, I don't know if you know, this is a very big country. It's an enormous place, in fact. And so you can't do it in 5 hours. You just can't. 5 hours of television, so far. Anyway, that's the story of that. It was announced in the entertainment trade press last week. So now I can talk to you about it if I want to. If you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to ask me about them. I'm happy to talk to you about it, happy to tell you what's going on. Obviously, I don't want to, give away the whole show. You'll get to see it when you see it. And we're still working on it. I mean, I've shot it, but I haven't finished it. These things take a while. So I will be working on it between now and the end of April, I think. But if you have any questions about what I'm doing, what the show is about, what you'd like to know, please don't give me suggestions about where you'd like me to go, because I'm not going anywhere right now because we finished that part of it. But I'm happy to allay your concerns or listen to your... if you're angry about what I'm doing, I would say, please hold your rage until you see the show. Because it's, I think it's got a shot. I think it could be good. Fingers crossed. Could be good. Anyway, so today, I don't know if you can tell from my accent, I am in Charlotte, in the great state of North Carolina or South Carolina. It's in the Carolinas. I think it's North Carolina. It's North Carolina. It's near the border of South Carolina. Because Charleston is in the south and Charlotte is in the north. Charlotte, North Carolina. And you could probably tell from my accent, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, because I've been here for a couple of days and I've picked up the southern accent with my high-fidelity. I always feel a great affiliation with people in the south, because I feel like people in the south, when they travel outside of the south, they will consistently run into other people who are not from the south, who feel that they can do their accent better than them. And that is something that happens to you if you're Scottish. Sometimes if you travel around the world, if you're Scottish, people will say, "Oh, Scottish, oh, Shrek, you sound like Shrek, farty donkey." And that's hilarious. I enjoy it very much indeed. It's, I wonder, it's a thing that people say to me back in Scotland. They say, "Craig, you've lost your accent." Well, they say it, a Scottish accent, obviously, not in this weird mid-Atlantic twang that I seem to have developed. According to them, I mean, I have to say, according to everyone else I talk to in America, people seem to think I still have a Scottish accent. I look forward to your quotes and letters and correspondence about that very thing. But, and actually, having said that, I will get to these quotes and correspondence now. I just have to open my computer with the password. I better not say it out loud so you know it. Did I say it out loud? I don't think I did. Password. That's my password. That's not my password. Just to say, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, because I'm doing the Comedy Zone Comedy Club. I feel, as a stand-up comedian, which is part of what I do for a living and part of what I am as a person, I know it's not a manifesto for anyone else, but I have to play at least half a dozen club dates a year just to stay current. It's a bit like having a pilot's license or going to the gym. You know what I mean? It's like, if you don't keep at it, you'll lose it. You kind of, and then you have to work your way back into it. So I feel like if you stay and you do a club, and there are clubs that I love. The Comedy Zone in Charlotte is a club that I love. The Comedy Works in Denver is a club that I love. The Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco, Zanies in Chicago, of course, the Great Comedy Cellar in New York. There are great comedy clubs in America, and I've probably missed half a dozen as well. But I love doing it because I think if you're a stand-up, it's all right playing theatre. It's lovely playing theatres, and I love doing it, and it's great, and it's a great privilege. But playing comedy clubs, getting the smell of the chicken fingers and the noise of the crowd, or the noise of the chicken fingers and the smell of the crowd, depending on what club you're in, it's important. I feel that it keeps your brain firing on the correct cylinders, and so that's why I do it. Anyway, to your correspondence, my dears, because that's how we do this show now. I used to have guests on this show, but I think we can all agree. Look, it's not like you're short of podcasts that have guests. There are plenty of podcasts up and down the worldwide internet of webs that you can get guests. I've been on tons of them myself this week because I've been promoting Scrabble, which started last week. Scrabble, of course, is a game show which I also host. And I've been promoting it in New York this week. I did all the shows. I did all the going around New York talking to people. I think I did like half a dozen podcasts, and I enjoy it. It's chatty. It's a nice chatty thing, but I feel like I don't have to add my voice to the cacophony of interviewers. You know, I mean, I've done plenty of interviews. If you need to see me interviewing someone, you can look it up online, or you can wait to see American on Purpose, because I interview a lot of people on that show, a lot of them. But I interview different types of people. Some of them very famous, actually, but some of them not very famous. Some of them not famous at all. Some of them kind of trying to keep quiet about who they are. And I like that. I like talking to people in person. And I like talking to people about them. But I'm not crazy, if I'm honest, talking to people about me. Isn't that something? That's something that I've learned about myself. I like doing interviews because you can keep the conversation focused on the other person. And I think that's what in fact, I think I've just realized it in this moment. Why do I like doing interviews more than I like giving interviews? And the thing is, because I don't really like to talk about me. Now, a lot of times, if you're being interviewed by someone in particular, they don't really talk about you. They talk about themselves, and then that's easy. And sometimes, in the nature of television shows, especially fast ones, you know, you're not getting into an in-depth conversation in a 3-minute segment on a TV show. That's not how it's done. It's just about, keeping it light, keeping it friendly. That's also a fine form of entertainment. It's a different thing. But the podcast, when I do the podcast and people are interviewing me on the podcast, I'm not crazy about that. Not because anyone's mean or nasty. It's just because I prefer to keep the conversation focused on something else. Does that make me sneaky? Am I a sneaky person? I don't think I'm a sneaky person. I just think I'm genuinely more interested, I swear to God, in other people than I am me. I said to my wife this week, actually, when I was doing all this publicity for for Scrabble, she said, "How's it going?" I said, it's fun, it's great, but I'm just sick of hearing myself talk, which is ironic, given that I'm talking to you right now and there's nobody else here. But I'm not really talking to you about I am talking about myself. My God, this episode is dripping with irony and hypocrisy. I feel such a fool. Let's get to your correspondence. All right. This is from Dan Fox. 2 X's in Dan Fox, which I think is in relation to Red Fox, the great Red Fox, great American comedian. Dan Fox says, "Greg, you've been open about the many gambles you've taken in your life." Have I? I suppose a little bit. Emigrating, substance use, that wasn't really a gamble. Well, I suppose it was in a way. Career choices, definitely gambled a lot in that. What is your relationship, if any, to money gambling? Ooh, excellent question, Dan. Given that we now know I apparently like to say that I don't like talking about myself, but apparently seem to love talking about myself. Let's talk about... So, money gambling is not something that appeals to me at all. I've never, ever been into it. There's a Scottish thing about, so let me get this straight. I give you money and you might give me some back, but you might not. Doesn't well, not to say there aren't Scottish gamblers, of course there are. I don't. It's never called to me. I don't like it. I don't like that money. You know what it is? Life's enough of a fucking gamble. Am I right, my homies? It's enough of a fucking gamble. I don't know. I think the odds are, why push it? Why push it? No, I don't think there's a fast way to make money. I will confess to dabbling a little in the stock market, but that's only because I'm financially advised to do so. I'm not in it a lot, though. I do it a little bit. To be honest, I'm not a mattress under the bed guy either. I like to, if I've got money, do you know what I like to do if I've got money? To buy art. Now, if you're actually visualizing this show and not listening, if you're just listening, I was told this week, by the way, that most people consume this podcast audibly, which is great by me. That's fine. I'm happy for you to do so. But sometimes, if you want to see a visual of this, it is available on the FaceTubeU.gov or something, and it's on YouTube. And if you can see behind me, if you have a visual of this, there's a very large image behind me on the wall here. It's a sort of mixed media thing covered in plastic. That I did not buy that. So if you're looking at it saying, well, Craig, you like to buy art, what about that thing that's in the visual thing I'm looking at behind you? I didn't buy that. I'm in a hotel, and this belongs to the hotel. I'll tell you what hotel I'm in, actually. Because that's the kind of guy I am. Because by the time you hear this, I won't be in it. I'm in the Ritz-Carlton in Charlotte, and it's a very nice hotel, I have to say. And they have lovely art on the walls, not to my taste, because I like Barbizon paintings, which is sort of romantic, idealized, countryside-y type paintings, usually from France, in the mid 1800s. I like French Impressionists, and I like 20th century masters, all the old favorites, Chagall, Matisse. Matisse isn't French. Oh yeah, he is, I suppose. Picasso, all those. I like all those. Now, I don't own any of that, but I like them. Anyway, what was I talking about? No, I don't gamble. If I have any money lying around, I give it to Mrs. Ferguson, to be honest. This is from Carpi Sol's cosplay. I suspect that's not a real name, but I'll look at it anyway. Craig, I need your help. All right, I'm here for you, Carpi Sols. I've been trying to get one of my partners to do a couple's cosplay with me. One of my partners? I've been trying to get him to be the Jessica Fletcher to my Sherlock Holmes. Please help me convince him this is a good idea. You're my only hope. And first of all, I don't know why I would be anyone's only hope, kind of for anything, particularly in the world of cosplay. Am I somehow connected to cosplay and don't know about it? Because I feel the cosplay I cosplay a man in his early 60s who's desperately trying to hang on to the last vestiges of a body that can move from A to B and get off the toilet without a fucking piece of machinery. What cosplay is that? Can you cosplay as me? Well, I think so. I mean, look at me. I'm dressed rather anonymously. Well, if you can't look at me, I will describe what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a strapless, glittery ball gown. But it's discreet. Anyway, what I'm saying is, why would you ask me to help you with the cosplay? Also, if you are into cosplay, and everybody's got their kink, and it's all good, I'm not judging. Jessica Fletcher and Sherlock Holmes together, I'm sorry, I want to help you, but I think that's like putting a werewolf on a spaceship. These are both things, but they don't belong together. You don't do the werewolf on the spaceship. Or I can see the reasoning for a vampire on a spaceship. You're in a casket, you're traveling through space, it's night quite a lot of the time. But werewolf, if you don't see the moon, how do you even know you're a werewolf? I mean, if you're thousands of light years from Earth to moon, do you turn into a werewolf if you just see any moon? Or is it only Earth's moon? Or is it circular discs? Or just anything that looks a bit like the moon? What I'm saying is, a werewolf doesn't belong on a spaceship, whether in fiction or otherwise, in cosplay. And Jessica Fletcher, from Murder, She Wrote, played by the late, great Angela Lansbury, who bore a striking resemblance to someone, I can't remember who it is. Angela Lansbury played Jessica Fletcher, and Sherlock Holmes, the great detective of fiction, played by a bunch of different people in the TV and film adaptations. Basil Rathbone, Jeremy Brett, Benedict Cumberbatch, to name but three who played Sherlock Holmes. I think Peter Cushing played Sherlock Holmes once. Christopher Lee might have done it. Played Sherlock Holmes. Oh, the greatest Sherlock Holmes film of all. What am I saying? Michael Caine and Ben Kingsley. That, to me, is the... Oh, well, wait. There was... Billy Wilder did The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes, which was also a great movie. I can't remember who played Sherlock Holmes in that, but it's a very, very good film. The Michael Caine, Ben Kingsley one, I can't remember the name of it. You can Google it, I'm sure. Where Michael Caine plays Sherlock Holmes, Ben Kingsley plays Dr. Watson, but as it turns out, Ben Kingsley is really the genius, and Sherlock Holmes is just a stooge. It's a nice take on it, and they're both hilarious in them. That is a great movie. And in fact, if you're asking me, why not if you're doing cosplay, do different Sherlock Holmeses? Do all the different Sherlock Holmes. Jeremy Brett, Benedict Cumberbatch, Basil Rathbone, Peter Cushing, Michael Caine. The one I can't remember from Billy Wilder's The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. It's a great movie. I wish I could remember the actor in it. Who played Sherlock Holmes. He was fantastic. Anyway, I'm sure one of you guys will figure it out. This is from, let's see, we've got David Myers from Nashville, Tennessee. Now, I don't know David, but I do know Nashville, and I will say this. I am in Nashville next week. What day is it today? Today for you is Tuesday, but today for me right now is Saturday. Saturday, I'm in Charlotte, which, I mean, I think next Friday I'm in Nashville. So come along, why don't you, David, and we'll have a chat. David in Nashville, Tennessee, because I'm doing stand-up in Nashville. I love Nashville, by the way. They've got, it's just a great town. Anyway, David says, I'm currently reading Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain and wondered if you'd ever crossed paths with Anthony. Do you know, here's an interesting thing. I never once met Anthony Bourdain, and it is a source of some sadness to me because we have mutual friends and mutual acquaintances, and also working now with Morgan, who directed a lot of the Parts Unknown with Anthony. Morgan, who's directing American on Purpose, which is a show I'm doing for CNN. You know, there are threads that and I was a huge fan of Anthony Bourdain and what he did. I think he almost created a new genre of television. I mean, I know there were travelogues and stuff before, but he was so good at it. It was all like David Bowie didn't invent music, but he created a whole new, to me, feel like a stream. And I think Tony Bourdain was almost in that category. There was a whole kind of thing, an energy, a vibe that he put together on those shows, which I'm in great admiration of. But I never met him. And I remember once having dinner with a television executive a couple of years ago. Actually, it was quite a few years ago because it was before Anthony Bourdain died. And he said, have you ever met Tony Bourdain? And I said, no. He said, you should meet. He said, you two are like you should meet. And I was like, we should. And we never did. So that's a source of some sadness to me. But his legacy is remarkable. And he did a pretty cool thing with that show. You know what I did do this week, though? As part of the publicity for Scrabble, I was in New York City, and I got asked to do the show Beat Bobby Flay. Bobby, of course, is another, cornerstone of American culinary genius. And it's a different type of show, Beat Bobby Flay, but I did it. I'd never done it before. I had such a nice time. The idea of cooking like that. See, because I don't cook anything. My wife cooks everything, and she's very good at it, and likes to do it. So I just don't get asked to do that, which is great. Now sometimes I wonder, would I be good at cooking? And then I think, well, I think that ship has sailed. Sometimes, probably not. Actually, I could probably still do cooking. It's not like, well, I'd quite like to be a professional soccer player, but now that I'm 63, perhaps not. It's not the time to start pursuing that as a career. But could I learn to cook? Yeah, I probably could. And I think I might like to, because I think I need to broaden my horizons a little bit. One thing about going around the country talking to different people from wildly different walks of life, you really get a sense of, I got a sense of how limited, your world can get when you're in show business a little bit. You can really just spend your whole life talking to people who are also in show business. Luckily, no one in my family is in show. Well, that's not true, actually. They're all in show business in various terms. Do you know what? I'm struggling with verisimilitude in this episode, given the fact that I said I didn't like to talk about myself, then I talked about myself for half an hour. I'll be saying I don't have any tattoos next, but at least I was honest about wearing a ball gown while I was doing this show. Finally, this is from Carrie Howard from Castro Valley, California, who says, my mother's maiden name was Kerr, and that side of the family says they are Scotch-Irish. Yeah, that would make sense. Kerr's a Scottish name, I think. Do you think we could be related? If so, what's up, cuz? Because, you know, I don't know if we're related Carrie Howard or Cairn from Scotland. Not all, and this may surprise you, not all Scottish people are related to other Scottish people. We could be related, though. We could be. I'm not saying we're not, but we'll never know. Because I'll tell you why. I would never do any of those swab test, DNA, find your family things. Because that creeps me out, the idea of that your DNA is in a database that can be breached by, you know, aliens and stuff. I think about those things. I don't want my... Also, you know what? I don't know if I want to know either. Is it important? I guess for health reasons it could be. You know, you could find out about genetic, you know, anomalies and that kind of thing, things to look out for. But I think I'd rather know. But I'm something of a Luddite. I think that's what happens as you get a bit older. I think to myself, you know what, I like books. You know what, I like movies, but old ones, not in black and white. And, you know, kind of like, that's what it is. Anyway, this has been the weekly update from the Joy Podcast. Have a joyful week, my brothers and sisters. And I'll talk to you again next week. Take it easy.